Having rewatched Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, my initial meh feeling from the theater has solidified into concrete issues, many of which are rooted in the shift away from Steven Spielberg's vision. James Mangold is, deservedly, an awesome winning filmmaker, and he certainly keeps the pace and framework of an indie adventure, chasing a MacGuffin from point A to point B. However, the fundamental story direction feels distinctly un-indie. My core personal problem lies in what I call the depressed, suicidal loser epidemic in modern Hollywood, which Mangold has embraced twice now, in Logan and Adaptation and here. The film opens with Indy weighed down by guilt and depression over the loss of his son in Vietnam, which has destroyed his marriage to Marion. He's essentially waiting to be left alone to mourn, a sentiment that starkly contrasts with Spielberg's usual tone. While Spielberg's films often feature broken families reflecting his parents' divorce, they nearly always trend toward optimistic, happy endings. Furthermore, Dial of Destiny breaks the essential thematic thread of the franchise. Every previous indie film, even Crystal Skull, centered on a major religious or spiritual artifact, the Ark of the Covenant, the Sankara Stones, the Holy Grail, and the Yuga tribe's worship of the Crystal Skulls. The Dial of Archimedes is purely a scientific MacGuffin, lacking that core spiritual weight. This reportedly diverged from an earlier Spielberg-developed concept for the fifth film, involving a heist for the Spear of Longini. Beyond stories, the visual execution is different. The cinematography in the original trilogy, led by Douglas Slocum, favored a natural look, emphasizing shadows and utilizing deep focus by pouring light and closing the aperture so the background and foreground were clear. In contrast, Spielberg's later collaborators, Janusz Kaminski, introduced washout looks, blowout lights, and haze as seen in Crystal Skull. Dial of Destiny further deviates by being shot digitally, resulting in a heavily color-graded aesthetic that lacks the visual texture of the earlier films. Finally, the directing style abandons Spielberg's famous use of cinematic geography and one-ers. Spielberg used long, wide, moving shots to establish physical space, e.g., the meeting room in Jaws or the campsite in Jurassic Park. His characteristic on-er shots follow a single object or action fluidly, like the glasses of alcohol in the bar scene of Raiders. Mangold, on the other hand, it relies heavily on the standard shoot-cut technique. We see a close-up of a punch coming, then a close-up of the hit landing. It makes for choppy viewing, even if it's not the rapid-fire editing of a Michael Bay film. In short, while technically competent, Dial of Destiny sacrifices the thematic, emotional, and visual grammar that defined the Indiana Jones series. I found Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character's "I'm better than you" attitude particularly grating.